Kindle Unlimited will make you feel so book rich. Hey guys, welcome back. So I tried Kindle Unlimited for the first time throughout the month of January, and I don't know why I haven't used this service sooner. So I've had my Kindle for almost a year now, and I just never bothered with Kindle Unlimited. I only stuck with reading books on the Kindle through the Libby app through my library. So in today's video, I'm going to go through what I found to be the biggest pros and cons of Kindle Unlimited. I'm also going to go through the best books that I read through the service this month, and then how much money I saved by using Kindle Unlimited. But before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so we have to start out with the pros. The first pro being that this is a fairly inexpensive service. Kindle Unlimited is only $9.99 a month, and Amazon is always offering promotions of like 1 month free or 2 months for $4.99. And when I actually bought my Kindle last year, it came with this promo code for 3 months free of Kindle Unlimited. And my code was about to expire at the end of December 2021. So that's why I finally decided to try the service, because I didn't want it to expire. So on the last day of December, I finally signed up. And I don't know why it took me so long to use this promo code. I wish I would have signed up sooner. So like if you're kind of thinking about Kindle Unlimited, like definitely take advantage of like their free month free or like any of their other like promo offers, and just try it, because really it's like there's no risk. So another pro being that if you are a volume reader, this service is so great. So with Kindle Unlimited, you can have up to 20 titles checked out at one time. And as long as you are at the 20 titles or less, you can keep the title for as long as you want, as long as you still have the Kindle Unlimited service and it's still labeled as a Kindle Unlimited book. So I was obsessed with this feature. I consistently kept 20 different books downloaded onto my Kindle at a time. And I just felt so book rich. Like every time I would open up my Kindle, I was just giddy. I was like, there is just so much to choose from. And I was just like, wow, I have like all the books right now. And I was just obsessed with this. Another pro being that there are no holds or waiting times for these books to come available. So I'm the type of person that I was resorting to the library, and on the Libby app, I would have the max amount of holds at a time on these books I wanted to read. And so I got really accustomed to like waiting for the hold to come available before I could actually read a book. But with Kindle Unlimited, it is like this completely different world. I would just be scrolling through the store and I would find a book that I wanted, and it was labeled Kindle Unlimited, and I'd click it and it would just be like, okay, here you go, immediately. And I got super spoiled throughout this month with not having to place holds on books and just having like the instant gratification of immediately selecting a book and then being able to read it was just super addicting. So I found with the ease of downloading books also came the ease of trying new authors I had never heard of before with no risk. If anything about a book looked remotely interesting, I could just download it, and if I didn't like it, it was just no big deal. Like you can just return it. So because of this, I was way more inclined to read a book by like somebody I had never heard of before. And then if you like that book, most of these Kindle Unlimited authors have a lot of other books on Kindle Unlimited. So you can just read as many of their books in a month that you want. It's amazing. And then going along with that, I'm a big romance reader, and that is like the bread and butter of Kindle Unlimited. There are so many romance books on Kindle Unlimited, and they're in all varying degrees of like smut and different tropes. And a lot of times I found I would open my Kindle intending to read something, and then I would just end up scrolling through the Kindle store just seeing like what else is out there. So my last pro for Kindle Unlimited is that you can stop subscribing anytime you want. This is obviously a really great feature, and I like the idea that if I find I'm not using it as much, or if I want a break from it a certain month because I know I'm not going to use it, that I can just cancel whenever I want and then just come back to it whenever I feel like it. Okay, so moving on to the cons. I don't have too many cons with Kindle Unlimited, but like naturally there are going to be a few. So my biggest complaint with Kindle Unlimited is actually I found browsing the store to be a little difficult. So initially I was using my Kindle to browse, and using Kindles to read is like a really great experience and I really like it. But when it comes to book browsing on the store, it is so finicky and so slow, and it's not super user friendly. Like you're scrolling through the lists and like it catches your finger and it's like, oh, do you want to look at this book? And it's like, no, I'm trying to scroll. And like it was just it got to be a little taxing. And then also under their Kindle Unlimited like store, it felt like everything they were advertising to me was the exact same thing every single time. It felt like they had 15 books that they were like trying to nudge me to. And the majority of them I just wasn't interested in. Like I do wish that they had a feature where you could like hold on the book and be like, stop recommending this to me. I don't want to read it. Like please recommend something different to me. And then even when I tried like doing browse categories and then filtering by a subcategory and then filtering again by Kindle Unlimited, it was just like this long list of books sorted by popularity. So if you read through all of these books, it could be really hard to keep discovering new books unless you like really know what you're searching for. But about partway through the month, I did find that downloading the Kindle app on my phone and browsing for books that way was so much faster and so much more user friendly than using the actual Kindle. I still did kind of have the same problems with them recommending the exact same books and having kind of end up being kind of hard to like sort through things, but I didn't have the problem of like trying to type things in because it's so slow and then like it selecting a random book when I'm scrolling. So it did make it a little bit easier, and you can select books on the app and it'll send it to your Kindle. So that was nice. So I ended up just browsing on my app and then reading on the Kindle. So even though I knew going into only reading Kindle Unlimited books this month that I would probably not have like mainstream popular books available on the service, but it didn't stop me from still looking them up just to make sure. I have a bunch of books on my to be read on hold with like my library, and I looked, I was like, oh, maybe some of these are on Kindle Unlimited potentially, and like none of them were, which I knew they weren't going to, but I still didn't stop myself from like looking just in case. But this really did push me to try new authors that I was like new to and like indie authors, and I did read some really great books this month, but I did find a few popular titles that were on Kindle Unlimited that I was kind of surprised by. Like they do have like the Harry Potter series, the Lord of the Rings, and the Handmaid's Tale, but like nothing like new and mainstream and popular, like nothing like popular authors right now like Emily Henry or someone like that. Like they don't have like any of her books on there. So it's good kind of knowing going into the service that you're not going to be getting those things and kind of coming to terms with it and just going for like the indie authors instead. It is helpful though if you go to your like want to read list on Goodreads through the Kindle, it will label the books on that list as Kindle Unlimited if they're available through the service. So that was really helpful to kind of quickly glance through my list and see like, oh, I've been wanting to read this, let's download it right away because it's a Kindle Unlimited book and read it. So my last con with this service is that the titles can change at any time. This could also be a pro though, like depending, like it could be a con if the book or author you really like they decide to not have their works be on Kindle Unlimited anymore, and then you don't have access to it through Kindle Unlimited anymore. But on the flip side, a new author could put their books on there and then you could discover someone else that you completely like. So it's kind of like any other streaming service like Netflix or Hulu where you're at the mercy of the streaming service and you just kind of have to be okay with it if something just suddenly isn't available anymore. Okay, so now these are the best books that I read on Kindle Unlimited this month. The first is a 5-book series. It's the Harrow Fair series by Catherine Ann Kingsley. And this was the first series that I read with Kindle Unlimited, and I read it within like the first week. I was obsessed with it at the beginning of the month. This story is about Cora, and she is taken by Harrow Fair, and it's like this circus type place, and she is essentially made immortal, but she's trapped at the fair. This was also a bit of a dark romance with a villain main male character, and I loved it. So I'm really, really excited to continue to keep reading this author. She has like quite a few more series on Kindle Unlimited and like a bunch of other stuff. So I just love that about Kindle Unlimited, that I can just keep downloading her stuff, and like, you know, she's a new author that I just discovered, and I think that she's fabulous. So in terms of reading like a full series on Kindle Unlimited, it was so great because I would just finish the first one and then it would be like, continue reading, and I'd be like, yes, download the next book, and immediately I could just keep reading the next one, and I loved it. Okay, another great Kindle Unlimited book and another author that has a lot of things on Kindle Unlimited is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I have a whole video gushing about this book. I will link that in the description below. But this book is about a young mother who has been released from prison, and she's hoping to reunite with her 4-year-old daughter. So this was a new release by Colleen Hoover. It came out January 18th of 2022. So I was really excited to read it right away and just download it as soon as it came out the same day. And like I said, she has a bunch of her other books also available on Kindle Unlimited. So if you want to dive into her as an author, there you go. Another book that I really enjoyed was A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. She is another author that has a lot of her books, if not all of them, available on Kindle Unlimited. So another author that I'm really excited to keep reading more of her books. So this is a romance book, and it was really full of tropes, and I read it all in one day. It was a fake dating trope, enemies to lovers trope, a billionaire romance trope. I think that's it, but she has this like really humorous writing style that I really enjoyed. So I'm actually excited to keep reading more of her books as well. Okay, so the last one I really enjoyed is so random, and it's The Idea of You by, I think it's Robin Lee. And I was surprised by how much I liked this book. This was a completely random one that I was like, okay. And this is the author's like first and only book. And the premise of this book is kind of like a Harry Styles like fan fiction, but like not in a cringy way. I swear it's more mature. And the book is about like this 20-year-old boy band member and this 40-year-old woman, and they start dating, and it's them having to navigate their dating life and like having to deal with like the 20-year age gap. So I thought this book was actually really well written, and I liked it way more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was going to be one of those ones that like I downloaded and then started and was like, no, this is stupid, but I totally was into it. So now moving on to like the money section of the video. So throughout this month, I kept track of how much each book was that I downloaded and how much it would have cost if I were to have purchased the book and read it as an ebook. I was just kind of curious to see how much money I was going to be saving with these books that I downloaded. Now, I looked in the list of the books that I downloaded, the vast majority of them were not books that I could have had the option to place a hold on or rent from my library. So my only other option to have read them would have been to purchase them or obviously read them through Kindle Unlimited. So over the course of January, I downloaded 26 books. Now, I haven't finished all of these books. Of them, I finished these 10, and I'm still currently reading 4 of them, and I do like them and I plan to finish them. 2 of them I downloaded and then I didn't finish them because I didn't like them. And then there are 10 that I downloaded but never actually got around to starting reading them, but I still want to give them all a try. So over the course of the month in total, all of these books would have cost $136.74 to purchase at the ebook price. So I thought that was interesting to see how much I saved over the course of the month, and I'm kind of excited about it. So overall, I do think that Kindle Unlimited is a great deal. The majority of the books are like $5.99 and lower, so even if you were to read at least 2 books a month, you're getting your money's worth. And I'm definitely excited to keep reading with Kindle Unlimited because I have a lot more books that I'm interested in that I didn't get a chance to read. And so especially for someone like me who is a volume reader and a romance lover, Kindle Unlimited is just perfect. So let me know in the comments below how you feel about Kindle Unlimited or what your favorite books are that are available on the service. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye!